The Russian war has now stepped into day 92 with a worrying death toll in Ukraine. Moscow claimed that the special operation was begun to stop genocide in East Ukraine. The EC president has accused Russia of weaponizing food supplies as Moscow refused to step back from the Black Sea ports. Meanwhile, pro-Russian authorities in Kherson requested a military base in the area. Zelensky emphasized that fresh sanctions against Russia are being postponed by the EU. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky claimed that the new sanctions against Russia by the EU are being postponed. He further said that the disastrous repercussions of Russia's war against Ukraine could have been prevented if international leaders had responded more aggressively and not flirted with Putin by making concessions to him. This is announced in the politician's evening address to the people. Zelensky said that the members of the European Union have been debating whether to block Russia's banking system and impose the sixth round of sanctions, including an oil embargo. Zelensky discusses Ukraine's EU membership with Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a conversation with the Prime Minister of the Netherlands. Zelensky said that he informed Rutte of the challenging circumstances on the front lines and the necessity to boost support for Ukraine in the face of Russian aggression. He also said that they discussed Ukraine's path to EU membership. Ukrainian Air Force shot down an enemy target. Serhiy Ozachuk, the governor of Chernivtsi Oblast, stated that a fighter aircraft of the Ukrainian armed forces shot down an enemy target over the region on Thursday. He said, "The aircraft fighter Air Force Zhu successfully worked the enemy target in the sky over the Chernivtsi region. Thank you Ukrainian military pilots!" Russian forces opened fire on 50 eastern settlements, killing 9 civilians. On the 26th of May, Russian invaders fired on 50 settlements in the oblasts of Donetsk and Luhansk, killing 9 civilians. As the Joint Forces Group's communications staff suggested, it stated that in Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts, the occupants fired on nearly 50 communities, destroying and damaging 60 civilian objects, including 55 dwellings, a school, a mining industry, a recreation center's administrative building, and it further said that 9 people were killed and 14 were injured as a result. Ukraine passes bill to recognize Belarus as Russia's co-aggressor and impose sanctions on it. Ukraine parliament's officials on May 26 introduced a bill that would recognize Russia's staunch ally Belarus as a co-aggressor and will foster sanctions against Minsk's regime, as is the case with Moscow. After Ukraine accused Belarus of hosting Russian troops on its territory that launched attacks on Ukraine, it is set to approve a law to impose the economic and other restrictive measures against Russia's neighbor. Ukraine's Verkhovna Rada is also developing a mechanism for seizure of assets and scrapping properties rights of Belarus, as it held the state equally accountable for actively supporting the military aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine. WHO votes to condemn Russia's activities in Ukraine. An assembly of the World Health Organization has voted to condemn Russia's activities in Ukraine, which it claims have resulted in a public health emergency. The resolution passed with 88 votes in favor, 12 votes against, and 53 abstentions, according to the meeting's president, Hiroki Nakatani, who received a standing ovation from the resolutions. The World Health Organization's annual assemblies usually make decisions by consensus. The member states have yet to vote on a similar plan filed by Russia that mirrors the original proposal's text. The U.S. is training 20 Ukrainian soldiers on how to utilize Harpoon missiles. A senior U.S. Defense Department official stated that the U.S. is training roughly 20 Ukrainian soldiers abroad on how to utilize Harpoon missiles supplied by Denmark in reaction to Russia's special military. During a press conference, the official stated that as the Danes will be sending Harpoon launchers and trucks, the U.S. is also assisting in the training of Ukrainians for coastal defense missiles. He further said that it is taking place right now, outside of Ukraine, and just under 20 Ukrainians are currently undergoing that training. Ukraine's FM Kuleba talks with German FM and discusses the tense situation in Donbas. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba had a conversation with German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock where he talked about the tense situation in the Donbas. He said that they also discussed the measures to counter the Russian attack. He told the German FM that they need more heavy weapons, particularly Belarus, and also asked for additional sanctions against Russia, as well as Ukraine's EU candidates. Macron discusses possible routes for transporting food from Ukraine with Erdogan. French President Emmanuel Macron explored various routes for transferring the Ukrainian grains with Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey. Élysée Palace stated that the two leaders discussed the importance of allowing Ukrainian grains to be exported, as they are vital to the food security of many countries. They reviewed several options for shipping crops outside Ukraine, which they discovered in collaboration with the UN, and promised to keep in touch in order to find a rapid solution. Finland to assist Ukraine in the restoration of infrastructure. Finland will assist in the restoration of Ukraine's infrastructure and cities, as well as support educational reform according to the government website. This was discussed during a meeting in Kyiv between Ukraine's Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal and Finland's Prime Minister Sanna Marin. Shmyhal and Marin reached an agreement at the meeting to extend the project Finnish support for the reform of the Ukrainian school until 2023. Chechens being kidnapped and sent to Ukraine as volunteers. Report. Human rights organizations in Chechnya have received complaints about Chechens being kidnapped and sent to the Ukraine conflict as volunteers. According to Ukrinform, the abductees are being compelled to sign a contract or face being taken to secret prisons. Only Hungarian registration plates can refuel at reduced price from May 27, says Hungarian PM. Amid the ongoing war and energy crisis, the Hungarian government, on Thursday, announced to provide fuel at reduced prices to cars with Hungarian registration plates. According to Hungarian public broadcaster Híradó, the new orders will be applicable at all fuel centers in Hungary from Friday, May 27. As per the government, the decision was taken to protect the country's security and economy. There may be more Ukrainian fighters hiding at Azovstal steel plant, claims separatist. The head of the Russia-backed separatist region in eastern Ukraine says that there may be more Ukrainian fighters hiding at the sprawling Azovstal steel mill in Mariupol, even after Moscow officially declared the operation of taking control over it successful. Denis Pushilin of the Donetsk People's Republic said of the Ukrainian fighters on Thursday, "They could be hiding. They could be lost somewhere, lagged behind the ones who surrendered and were captured."